What up, y'all? Today I wanted to talk to you about how when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you were never in a relationship with a narcissist. You just thought you were in a relationship with a narcissist. Unbeknownst to you, most likely, at least when you were unawoke to things, you were a lot of times thinking you're in a relationship, with somebody who you think cares about you. You just having a tough time understanding them. You're having a tough time relating. You're dealing with somebody who's been, probably highly damaged. An empath would always understand that. And that's probably why we stuck it out for so long when we were with them. Because we care, genuinely speaking, we have a big heart, right? And we tend to not want to give up on things. And, the narcissist sees this a mile away. And so to give them in their defense, a lot of times, they say they sniff us out and they target us. They do. And sometimes I go harder in this department, but we gotta accept the fact that a lot of times they are doing some of this, it's maybe there's not so much innocence, but there's a lot of damage there that they have from doing some things, but it doesn't make everything okay. It doesn't mean that they have a free get out of jail card when it comes to this stuff. I'm not saying that. Just today I kind of feel a little, I feel a little maybe for the narcissist than I normally do. Because, at the end of the day, we're in life. And life sucks sometimes, And I think for the narcissist, it's sucked like, probably sucks their whole life. And I think that's why they try to make everybody else's life suck so bad. Because, if you were to live and walk in their shoes, as bad as we could say at times it has been for us to live the life they live, but they choose to, of course. That's rough living, man. To be so much of fakeness, and to use people and abuse people. But when you look at it, deep enough, sometimes, you kind of catch a glimpse of, sometimes, you can see, now don't get me wrong, but you can see sometimes, how you went down pieces of this construct yourself, and sometimes you deal with, some pieces, sometimes on the other side of the spectrum, but because like I always say, we were injured by the narcissist caregiver, and they chose to become them out of their injury. And so, it's kind of like, it's kind of an interesting whole topic to really dig in and look at it. It's one thing to be hurt over and over by them and to just see the surface of that. And I get that. But, there are different, there's narcissists at different spectrums. There is a spectrum for them, and there's a spectrum for the empath or the damaged empath or whatever, or the awoke empath. We're all on, let's say, some sort of a spectrum. And now we don't necessarily have to, I'm not saying to give them grace. But, when you look at it, it's shitty. And I don't, as much as they chose that path, and maybe a lot of that I do believe is innately what they chose, and that's sad for them, but there's a mixture of feelings that comes along with that. And that's why you got to kind of watch your feelings in all of this, because it's one thing to examine it when you're healed and to be able to, kind of dwell on pieces and parts of it, knowing that you're healed. You can do that and not let it, draw you into a specific person that's damaged and injured, and to try to, work on making them better. But you can just examine, like, case by case as a study, and, not dive into it as if and as they are your love partner. And so you got to watch that when you've been with somebody and you dive into some of these topics on a deep level, because you can get to where in certain cases you can get wishy-washy and go back and forth on, how much, you can give them mercy and want to help them, and, sometimes see where you have been maladaptive and similar in some cases sometimes, but not on a pathological level. Now look at this thing right now. Don't look at me all funky. I'm trying to come at you with this on a right level to where you can see this and be real about it. But they've gotten to a point to where there's no change, because this is all they know. And it would be one thing if their spectrum or their construct showed them a multitude of different avenues, okay? Because if their construct showed them a multitude of different avenues that they've walked down, because they didn't just get so bent on one construct, but maybe many different ways of looking at different situations. But for them, they're always about control and power and supply, and they cannot regulate their emotions because they're always being fake. And then what makes them so deregulated is when you do not understand love. And when you do not understand love, it's hard to regulate your emotions because you're doing things that are unmerciful to people on a daily basis because you do not understand love. And so when you hurt people, you're not looking at it like that. You're looking at it like, I'm either gaining or losing power, and that's it. So they could be very cold, and, with no remorse and no regret, in certain situations and cases where, yes, they've almost utterly destroyed you, because you were not under the interpretation at the time that somebody could be so evil. But you also didn't know, well, you knew people were that evil out there, but you didn't understand that they did not understand love, and that their thinking is so backwards from ours, I guess. And for us, because our construct allows us in humanity to see this black, white, and gray area, it allows us to look at the constructs. It's not just our construct allows us to look at so many different pathways and roads that an individual in humanity can take, not the narcissist. So we can view things from a black area, a white area, a gray area, and in the gray area there's many pathways that a person can take that can be most preferred, or maybe not preferred at all, but we can understand and we can be empathetic and sympathetic, and they cannot. So they're fixed in that area of lack of love, and the lack of love, the no love, that construct allows no happiness, allows no joy, allows, in a weird way, instead of regret, more depression. And these are things that lead to all of these issues and problems, because with love allows you to, feel hurt when you hurt people that you care about. With love gives you object constants. Without love doesn't give you object constants because you're just about objects. And power and control has to do with getting objects and getting money and getting financial gains and acquisition of traits and stealing. It's always stealing and stealing type ways. So it leads to very much an evil way about them. And so I just wanted to, bring that up today, because these are ways that the narcissist thinks, and these are not the ways that humanity thinks. So to get into the mind of the narcissist, to have no love is to have nothing, because you can acquire all of the goods and services, and you can have everybody pamper you, but without love, you are nothing but an empty shell of an individual. And without love, you cannot be real. You have to be fake, because love is what humanity is built on, first and foremost. And you can, even if you have anything to do with any form of higher power, or anything in humanity, or any kind of relation to religion or higher power, you're going to have love as the center of everything. I mean, and love leads you to not want to have control. See, love, when you have love, you leave people in humanity to have, they have freedom to choose. And there's nothing better than the right to choose which side you want to be on and who you want to be with. Okay? And, and to do it with a free will. When you're dealing with control, power, and manipulation, which is the construct that they live on, and that only, and it's pathological, and it is black and white, and there's absolutely no gray area. That's the other issue. You can never be balanced, and you're always going to be imbalanced and confused in your love relationships when you cannot look at things from a gray area and object constants. So I guess at the end of the day, love is huge, and love is humanity. And without love, you're nothing. But to add to the confusion of that is to not have object constants. And those are all of the ways that our loyalty is based on. And you can't have loyalty and trust are what go together. And love is what leads you to those things. Everything outside of that is worthless, and at the end of the day, it's futile, and you will be very empty and a hollow shell of a self, of a person, of an individual. And that's how the narcissist ends up, and that's why that you can never be with them, and that's why that they will always injure and continue to destroy you, because whether you know it or not, without love, an individual is being used, in my humble opinion, used by the enemy. And I'm going to stop here because it's 14 minutes, and I promised myself I'm going to do shorter videos. So give me a like, a thumbs up, and stand tall all the time. And until next time, soldier up. Peace.